Hello, everyone. It's Phil Jones, and joining me is Adrian from Stewart Filmscreens. So,
Very
Adrian,
well.
how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Exciting news. Last year, we built a reference theater, and I thought it was really, really awesome. But Eric, who works for me, and Derek, who works for me, came in and they said, "Meh, we can make it actually better." So, we have redone our theater to make it even more outrageous than what we had in the past. So, what did we do? Well, the first thing we did was enlarge the screen. So before we had an 85-inch 8K flat panel and a maybe 120-inch 235 screen. What you see behind me, way behind me, is a 165-inch 235 screen for this particular space. And behind that is the custom theater top of the line Bowers and Wilkins custom theater system. And so this is now a 9.4.6 surround sound system.
Wow.
So, but of course, like I said, we wanted to make sure that we had a great picture. So we have a new JVC NZ9 8K projector, but we wanted to make sure that we had a great picture, and there's speakers that cost a whole lot of money behind that screen, and we have to make sure that that sound quality is great. So we went to Stewart Filmscreens. So Adrian, what is the screen that we're using behind us right now?
Okay, so we'll just start off with the system. Okay, so the frame is from the Balón family, which is the Balón Edge, which has a 1/2-inch border. So what that does is helps you increase your viewing, right? And then the material is the StudioTek 130G4 reference standard material when you need help with HDR, when you need some gain to help with, like, maybe the lumens of the projector, when you need sound transparency, we can all make that possible with the StudioTek 130G4.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, the plan is to put up an NZ9 above us.
Okay, yep.
So now we're using an NX9, which is still an 8K E-shift projector, but the lumens is around 2200 right now. So we wanted something that so the gain of the screen really helps with that, right?
Definitely, yeah. Especially on the 130G4. What I really like about the material is it is a matte white, material for dedicated rooms, but Stewart's able to keep that gain at 1.3 and without sacrificing any quality, and it's going to help maximize the projector.
Exactly. And like I said, behind that screen is Bowers and Wilkins custom theater. They're top of the line ones, the CT8s. As well as, I think in this room we have 6 of their big subwoofers. It's all CT custom theater stuff. And below that screen are multiple Class A Delta stereos, and at least, I think, 8 PM10s. So there's a lot of oomph in this room. But because like I said, the goal is to show the best that Sound United has to offer. And we needed to make sure that the sound came through that screen. And I was worried that if we made it really good acoustically transparent, it was going to impact the picture quality, and it doesn't, right?
Not at all, not at all. So the value of the 1.3 gain is we're going to perf the screen ourselves at Stewart Filmscreen. We have the capability to do that, and your screen actually goes from about a 1.3 to a 1.2 gain. So we knew ahead of time that we were going to make the screen acoustic. The fabric is THX certified, so there'll be no problems there with your sound transparency. So you're still above a 1.2 gain with the MicroPerf.
Yeah, and I will tell you that on this screen, you really you can't see it's difficult to see the perf. So even in the front row, you don't see it. You don't see it. It's so fine that it really doesn't stand out. I don't see any moire or anything. If I didn't tell you that it was an acoustically transparent screen, you would have no clue.
So we have JVC's technology built into our system, so that's why you're not going to see any moire. We're going to go ahead and customize the screen to the technology of the projector. And I want to just share my thoughts. When I walked in, I looked, I knew it was a sound transparent screen because that's what we worked on together, but I had to walk up and get very close to the screen to double check because I was like, did we send them the wrong screen? But I go, no, Phil would have called me.
Yeah, I would have called me.
Called me.
Eric McBride who's an acoustic engineer, would have called you immediately if it was the wrong material.
But to your point, the holes are so micro.
Yeah,
It even fooled me, and I've been at Stewart for about 3 years.
Okay, so let's talk real quick about choosing the right screen for the application. So if someone's picking a screen, what are some things they should consider when it comes to buying a screen? And then we'll talk about why this one ended up in this space.
Application. Number one, is it a dedicated room? Semi-dedicated? Are the lights uncontrollable? That's one thing we want to know, so we can work on a specific material.
Okay.
And then number two is like the projector, right? What projector are you using? Number three, is it acoustic, right? All of those come into factor, and then we can go ahead and create the right experience for the room.
Exactly, because you have to look at the space that you're in, and like I said, it's the room and the projector and the screen are all one system. They are not separate. So you have to look at all of that. So for example, this room we chose a 235 because we wanted the biggest screen we could get, but our ceiling isn't very high.
Correct.
And below the screen is all of the electronics. So to get the widest screen that we can get in here, we chose a 235. It's also most of the movies that you're going to be watching are 235. So it works out. Most of the movies are 235. The screen's 235. It works out splendidly, and you have room for your amplifiers, and it's big, and it fits into our lower, maybe 10-foot ceiling. The next thing, this room is all black. Black walls, black ceiling, black floors, great couches. Everything about this room is designed there's no windows in this space. So we wanted to make sure, so the type of room that determines whether you use ambient light rejecting type materials. The next thing is, how bright is the projector?
Sure.
Big screen. If I had a 10,000 lumen projector, the amount of that extra gain wouldn't really be necessary.
Correct.
But to make HDR pop with the amount of brightness we had, we wanted a higher gain screen.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
and StudioTek was chosen because it is the HDR enhancer, right? So let's say you're running 10,000 lumens, then we would have went over to a product called the StudioTek 100, which is the reference standard when it comes to a cinema.
Yep. And then you go to something like now we go back to the screen. The screen is gigantic, and we don't want the vocals to be detached. We don't want the vocals not to come from the screen. So behind the screen, we have a center front height and a center channel, and a subwoofer for the center channel, all behind the screen, along with the left speaker and the right speaker. We want to make sure that to make that screen so big, the speakers fit behind the screen.
That's beautiful.
So all of this stuff kind of goes together to determine what screen we chose for this theater at Sound United. Now, some things that we've noticed is the screen we picked is a 235. And a lot of this content that we play on our Kaleidoscape is 235. Most Spider-Man, most epic movies and stuff are 235 content.
Correct.
But we also do a lot of concert footage. And a lot of concerts and TV shows are actually shot in 16:9. And that's where you do something like, if you wanted to, we could have done a masking system. So can you talk about what a masking system is?
So we have a few options of masking, right? So what a masking system does, it turns your native resolution screen or maybe the shape of the screen into a different format. Example, we're watching a movie in 235 format, but we want to watch the ball game, which is generally in 16:9 format. So your masking system, if motorized, can change from 235 format to 16:9.
I didn't know, and I guess we didn't have time really because we were in a rush to do both masking and acoustically transparent, and you could do that, right?
That's correct. So any of our motorized masking systems, you generally can order the material. We'll MicroPerf it for you, but then our masking panels are also acoustic. We give you the option. You don't have to, if you don't need them, don't order them, but you have that option with us too, so we can make those panels acoustic.
Yeah, so I can go from watching something in 235, the big widescreen movie, and then when the concerts come on or we're watching a sporting event, I can mask it off to maximize the performance, right?
Correct, and it's all sound transparent.
Okay. Now, real quick, you have a couple of different options for that, right?
We do.
So what are some of the options? Let's talk about this first one, director's choice. What is that?
Director's Choice is a four-way masking system.
Mm-hmm.
The Evo, it's the new evolution. So what we've done on the Director's Choice is we've decreased the borders. So they're down to about 6.5 inch all the way around, and that's huge. And what the value of the Director's Choice is, your masking comes from the top and bottom and the left and right.
Okay.
So you can pretty much, with about 24 presets. So you can pretty much maximize any aspect ratio that you want.
Okay. So say we're in here and we were watching The Star is Born, ultra, widescreen, screen aspects out. The recording is in Dolby Atmos, and now we got this beautiful Marantz Classe system playing the Bauer stuff, and you get this amazing Dolby Atmos 9.1.6 experience. Then we may decide to go to movie content, because like on our Kaleidoscape, we have tons of music content besides the movie content. So I may want to look at a concert video from maybe Springsteen or the Eagles or something like that, and and that stuff is shot in 16:9. So the screen will mask. You can mask the screen down, so you have really good blacks, so that the fact that the screen is not being utilized doesn't deter from what you're watching. And now I can play that back in Dolby Atmos or use DTSX or or Neural X or one of those things to actually get this spectacular concert performance. Then I can go back and look at, I don't know, Gone with the Wind, which was shot, or not Gone with the Wind, an older movie, because older was, I used the one movie that's shot in widescreen. So I can go back and look at a classic movie or MTV concert, and I can mask it down to 4:3.
Correct. That's absolutely right.
So I get this. So now I can watch that great old school concert or that great old musical in the proper aspect ratio with the great sound, and the screen is not going to distract me. A lot of times when I deal with these audio guys here, I have to really point out that you still have to work on the video side of it, because if the video doesn't look good, you're looking at the problems with the video instead of focusing on how great the audio and video experience is. So all of this stuff matters. We always say that video without audio is just surveillance, but if the video is bad, you'll be focusing on how bad the video is instead of enjoying the great audio. So all of these things have to be great together. So you have this director's choice where you could basically mask this way up and down for widescreen, or you can mask this way for the old school stuff, which is older movies from the 50s and 60s and older broadcast television.
Sure, like I Love Lucy, or we like to point out too, on the director's choice, we generally see these are wall to wall and ceiling to floor. And let's just say you're hanging out in the first row and you don't need to have the screen completely open. Yeah, exactly, gigantic. You can actually maximize your masking
and shrink it down, so when you're watching like a sporting event, you're not doing this.
Correct. That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's some other screen options you have. Vistascope. What's the difference between that one and the one we're just talking
about? Okay, so director's choice is usually ordered in like a 2.0 or 16:9 format. Vistascope, we want to order in like a 2.3.5 format. Generally, it's 2.4.0. That's the widest movie format. Okay, and then you can mask in from the sides down to 4:3, and there's also another 24 presets on that.
Okay. So you can program it to do exactly what you want for the aspects that you want.
Yep. And real quick on the evolution, the borders for Vistascope are at 4.5 inches on the sides now.
Okay.
That's pretty huge.
To make it a little bit more compact.
Exactly.
Okay. So what is a wall mask?
So wall mask is basically our entry-level motorized masking. Okay, and it's very simple masking. So you can order. There's about 2 options that are really popular in that series. One is the vertical masking. So you can select your native, like let's say 2.4.0 or 2.3.5 format, and then it's basic triggers that will turn your native format of widescreen into 16:9 format. So the vertical panels will drop from the top. Okay.
So like I said, there are lots of different options to maximize the performance of any space. So we worked with Stewart Filmscreens to find the right screen for our reference theater. Like I said, in this theater is a combination of Class A and Bowers and Wilkins and Marantz, and it supports a wide variety of formats, Dolby Atmos, DTSX, Aural 3D. The list goes on and on. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be doing showing you upgrades that we've actually added to our spaces. So we're going to go through the theater piece by piece. Today we're talking about the screen. Maybe later we'll have JVC come and talk about their projector. We'll talk about how all that works, of course, with our products. We will give you a view with Eric about why he chose the Bowers and Wilkins system that is behind this screen and the Marantz and Classe amplification that he used with this screen. We also upgraded our hi-fi room, and our friend John Calder is going to come back and talk about the upgrades we did in our hi-fi and our audio spaces. So as you can see, having partners like Stewart Filmscreens is great, because what you see, their product a lot of times found in the same theaters as our product. And we are, whether you're Stewart or Sound United, where our goal is to give you the best experience in your particular listening and media space. Now, before I let you go, you do have other options for customers who have screens for rooms that have like ambient light, right? So say you had a room with a bunch of ambient light.
We do actually. So a little history on that. Stewart started making ambient light rejecting screens for the popular theme parks decades ago. So Stewart launched their first ambient light rejecting screen to the home cinema market, which was called the Greyhawk 90. So we've also added products like Firehawk. It's on its 5th generation now. We're constantly evolving and making our products better. And then our newest product, which we're super excited about, thank you for asking, is called the Phantom Hailer Plus. So that's going to reject over 80% of ambient light in the room. It has a 1.3 gain. We can make it acoustic, call it MicroPerf. But another value is we can go 90 feet wide. Okay,
gigantic.
That's one. Yep, definitely seamless. And then the other value is we can put it in a big electric drop down without any problems. So that's the value there.
Yeah. So really cool solution. So we'd like to thank our partners for helping us put up upgrade these particular spaces. So stand by as we go through and go through these spaces and give you more detail as the room evolves. We're actually adding new seating. The list goes on, and I'm excited to show it to you along the way. But Adrian was here to come check it out, so I kind of wanted to have him do a quick little video with me to get you excited about the particular system. So to learn more about Stewart Filmscreen screens, where should I go?
Just go to StewartFilmscreen.com.
Okay. Now, another thing too is before we do that, you also have resources on that website to help people pick the right screen, right?
Definitely. So there's if you go to our website, StewartFilmscreen.com, there's actually a screen builder there for the general public, where you can just go ahead and punch in some key fields that will ask you some questions, right? And we'll help you select the right screen.
Okay. Yeah. Because how many different screens do you guys have?
We have so many different screen materials. Let's just say we have more than 31 flavors. Yeah, we're application based.
Yeah.
So that's our value at Stewart Filmscreen. We're not going to push or force any. We just want to know the application, and then we'll give you the right material for
that's how we are with audio. So sometimes you need a sound bar. Sometimes you need satellite speakers. Sometimes you want the speakers to be seen. So it's cosmetic, aesthetics. Colors, all that stuff matters. So the goal is to have enough options, whether it's audio or video, or to optimize the experience for that person in their room.
Correct.
And so just like we have this huge range of audio products to fit the needs of multiple customers and dealers, you have the same solutions when it comes to screens.
Definitely, we definitely do, and it's just every house is different, or every application is different.
Okay, so hopefully you guys are excited to learn more. So check out the upcoming videos that we will be posting soon, and make sure that you like and subscribe to the Sound United Training YouTube channel so I can convince my boss to do more of these types of videos. So Adrian,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir, for coming and spending a little time talking about this particular space.
We're honored to be here. Thank you for having us, and thank you for making us part of your experience center here. It's beautiful.
So take care, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.